Welcome to the next phase of your pantry clean-out challenge. It's time to get to work. Let's get serious and start the gutting process. It's going to be fun. If I'm going to purge something like a closet or a pantry, I like to empty the entire thing. I recommend making 4 categories. Have a trash can ready because category number 1 is to trash it. Check expiration dates and be ready for some funky smells. If you think it's old, it definitely is. Also, clear off your dining table and any countertops to make room for 3 other categories: keep, donate, and give to someone else. The difference between donate and give to someone else would be if you know someone in particular that likes something and you'd like to see if they want it. Of course, donated food items should be unopened and shelf stable. Put some music on, put on an apron or an old t-shirt, and get after it. And here's a pro tip: brush your teeth before you get started. I know it sounds weird, but you'll be less likely to snack as you clear the foods out. Or a sugar-free breath mint would work too. When your pantry is totally empty, give it a good wipe down. Consider putting in new liners on the shelves if you don't have any, or if they're looking pretty worn. I prefer to clean out my pantry first and then my refrigerator. You may like a different system, but I find I feel tired and gross after a refrigerator clean out, but after the pantry, I'm still ready to take on the fridge. We all have our things. When I finished my clean out party, I took some simple measurements and went to the dollar store for bins that would fit my pantry shelves. I actually prefer not to use clear bins because I don't want to see what's inside. The idea behind the containers is to put higher carbohydrate foods in the bins to keep things out of sight. Ideally, you've already made a plan to keep the most tempting foods out of the house altogether. But for the foods that will remain in the pantry, it's best to put them in a non-see-through container. Perhaps you organize containers by family members or by genre of food, whatever feels best to you. I also choose to put the foods that are good for me to eat at eye level. Protein bars, beef jerkies. We'll talk about the foods to restock your pantry with later in the challenge. I also recommend putting the bins up high on a shelf that you don't go to often or way low. If you're worried that family members will eat the foods that you maybe spent more money on or you just don't want to share, you might put your name on your own container and maybe add a lid and a lock, whatever you gotta do. At this stage in the clean out challenge, your pantry will look really bare. After I purged and reorganized and showed my husband, he asked where all the food went. This was a convenient time to point out to him that he puts mostly empty bags back on the shelves. I'm certain he'll appreciate that I told you this in the video, but please let the record show because it's ridiculous. As for the refrigerator, I would apply the same rules of discussing with the family what needs to stay out. Make your refrigerator a sacred space for your weight loss journey. It is okay to be picky about what you allow in it. In fact, you may consider a second fridge or a mini fridge for the garage or the basement for other family members to put things in that you don't want in the main fridge. It's not selfish, it's self-care. And a Craigslist purchase of a mini fridge to put in the garage is helpful for you and not an inconvenience for the family to go to the garage for a soda. In fact, I highly recommend the separate refrigerator approach if you're a soda drinker and your family is not willing to keep it out of the house. Because, I mean, if you open the fridge for a cheese stick and you find yourself staring at a cold can of Dr. Pepper, it's just cruel. All right, it's go time. Get that music going and get to work. I'll see you for the next and final video as we cover how to rebuild your bariatric-friendly pantry. You will see that email in just a couple days.